Hello guys, welcome to another edition of Ray Sports News and Debates. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about my three best quarterback moves, kind of slash offseason moves, really, mainly at the quarterback position. Starting at three, working our way up to one, give my thoughts and details on each signing. But without further ado, let's get into it. At number three, okay, we're going to go with Baker Mayfield re-signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Signed a 3-year, $100 million contract, $30 million of it guaranteed with two different $10 million injury bonuses. And what that means is basically 3 days into training camp, if he's not hurt, he gets a $10 million bonus. But if I'm Tampa, this was the right move. They re-signed Mike Evans, and that really was going to be the determining factor of if Baker came back, is if he had Mike Evans. But I like the move. It gives Tampa Bay stability, at least for a couple of years. I still don't think you know what you have with Kyle Trask in terms of a quarterback. I do think not maybe this upcoming draft, but the year after that will be a good quarterback draft. So maybe in a couple of years they move off of Baker and they get out of that third-year deal. But Tampa Bay won the division last year. I still really think the division's up for sale, really, between them, New Orleans, and Atlanta. But yeah, really like the Baker signing. At number two, little bit more underrated signing, really, considering they picked a quarterback in the top 10. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons bringing in Kirk Cousins. They signed him into a 4-year, $100 million contract. $100 million of it guaranteed, $50 guaranteed at signing bonus. Same thing like Baker. He has a couple of injury clauses in his contract. They're both $10 million as well. But now I think the Falcons are in the driver's seat in terms of the NFC South. I think they have the best offense in terms of that division. You got, Bijan Robinson, who was not used right last year. Shout out to Arthur Smith and his incredibly stupid play calling. Kyle Pitts is going to get more looks. You got Drake London. You got all these pieces in terms of Kurt, to throw to hand the ball off. And I think the defense is slowly going to get better with time. But I really like it. You're set up quarterback at least for the next 2 or 3 years. Although they signed Michael Penix, which I don't really understand. The Falcons need more help than at the quarterback position right now. And if Penix is going to be your backup, what are you doing with Desmond Ridder? Are you getting him out of the quarterback position? Are you making him a wide receiver? Is he just going to be a third string in case Kurt gets hurt or Penix gets hurt? But, I just overall like the Kirk Cousins signing. He hasn't really done a lot in the postseason. But I think it was an absolute steal for the Falcons to get him. He's only getting paid $45 million per year. He's making $115 over his last 2 years, including a player option. But I still like the signing for Atlanta nonetheless. Number one, I think the best one of the best offseason moves, if not best quarterback moves. And this just broke, I believe, yesterday or a couple of days ago. And that's the Detroit Lions signing Jared Goff to an extension. Now, a lot of people are kind of skeptical, like, Goff's been an average quarterback. Okay, I'm going to stop all the hate right there. Okay, the Detroit Lions have not been to an NFC Championship game in 30 years. I've been on this planet for 30 years. Okay, so when I was born, that's the last time they went to the NFC Championship game. Now, everyone and their mama was picking Minnesota, including myself, to win that division last year. I knew Detroit was going to be better. I just think the Vikings just had a little bit more in the tank in terms of veteran leadership. But Detroit came out of nowhere, won that division, won 2 playoff games, went to the NFC Championship game, and yes, they lost to the 49ers, but it was still an incredible season. Nonetheless, can't take anything away from the Detroit Lions. And it just shows you a little bit what happens when Jared Goff gets weapons. You got to think when he first got there, he didn't really have anybody. But they got David Montgomery. They got Gibbs in the backfield. They got St. Brown, who's, I would argue, a top 3 or 4 wide receiver right now in the league. Okay, you got him, running routes. They drafted probably the best tight end I've seen come out of the draft, not Kyle Pitts and Sam LaFleur. Or I probably butchered his last name, but his first name's Sam, that's all I know. But anyways, Goff has weapons now. I think the offense needed a security at quarterback. They don't really have anybody behind Goff right now. So I think it gives Goff the opportunity over the next 3 or 4 years to prove he can be the franchise quarterback. But I really am happy for Jared. I'm super happy they give him an extension. He absolutely earned every dollar about it, because everybody said when the Rams traded him to Detroit, yes, Stafford won a Super Bowl his first season with the Rams. Can't take that away from him. But Jared Goff was on a rebuilding team who started out 1-7 and ended the year 8-9 with the potential spot in the playoffs that first year. And he started out 1-7. Think about how many teams go 1-7 the first 8 weeks and are eligible for the playoffs the last week of the season. Now, they had to have a couple things go their way. Fortunately, they didn't. But hey, nonetheless, it was a successful season. Now, how did they follow that up? They got better. They drafted better. Okay. Now, if Dan Campbell can realize that you don't got to go for it every time on 4th down like it's, Madden 23 or 24 or something, I think Detroit probably would have made the Super Bowl this year. But nonetheless, I got to love the set that Dan Campbell has. But I'm glad they're running it back with Jared for the next couple of years. Like I said, could not be more stoked for him. He absolutely learned every single dime. All these quarterbacks did. Baker did. They won the division this year. They won a playoff game. Went to Detroit, gave Detroit everything they had. Detroit was just a better team that day. Kirk just makes sense because Atlanta has no quarterback, and that was the only thing stopping them back in terms of potentially making a run for that division. Now that they have the quarterback, they have the stability. Now I think Atlanta's in the driver's seat, like I said, in terms of winning that division. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. We are just a few subscribers away from 150 on the channel. So yeah, guys, until next time, you guys have a good one.